All right, man. I tell you what, the Times are some of my absolute favorite artists. Those guys and their lovely wives. How much fun is that? A little virtual marriage game. Why not? We can do anything on Zoom these days, can't we? Well, we can't have fun. We can't tell some jokes. We can't have some good times or some laughs without this group right here. Let's be honest, the tribute artists that we feature on the Malt Shop Memories Cruise are some of the best folks we have. Not only are they a reason many of you come to be with us, but they're a huge reason that many of you have fallen so in love with some of the more intimate rooms around Malt Shop Memories Cruise Ship. I am joined today by three of the longest standing and three of our absolute favorites. We have George and Timmy. How you guys doing?
Doing good? Great. Thanks for having us.
You look good. You look good. Timmy, you dressed up. I appreciate it.
Well, it's like a fake tattoo. It's the attitude without the commitment.
Listen, whatever gets you there, brother. Whatever gets you there. And of course, the lovely Miss Cara Lee. Hi, Cara.
Hello.
Cara, where are you coming to us from?
From Los Angeles, Hollywood Hills.
Los Angeles. And Georgie, you are down in Florida, are you not?
I'm in DeLand, Florida, where the fun never starts.
That's easier. Never has to stop that way. And
no,
Timmy?
It's great.
I am south of Myrtle Beach in a little town called Surfside Beach.
Surfside.
I pronounce the E and the A.
I hear that. Yeah, you got a twang. It's different. It's just different.
Oh, yes,
yeah.
I bet I do.
Well, I mean, obviously, you guys are a huge part of the Malt Shop Memories Cruise. It doesn't happen without you. You're glue in a lot of ways for what these cruises are. And I've said this to you before, and I've said it on stage, and I'll say it in front of anyone and everyone that will listen. You know, people book a cruise because we have the headliner there. They see the Beach Boys or Smokey Robinson or Avalon or Rydell, and et cetera, et cetera. I don't mean to leave anybody out because we have so many amazing headliners. But that's why someone books the cruise the first time. I'm convinced, I am sold 100% that people come back the second, third, fourth, fifth, 10th time because of all the other stuff that happens. When you go on board, you expect and know those headliners are going to be as epic as we know and expect they're going to be. But so they're unaware of how great all the other entertainment is around the ship and how much of it there is. And I believe all of you guys do about 73 shows a week, I think is what our contracts are up to at this point. Yeah. Cara every year gets a little more, and
different wigs and costumes.
Yeah, why not? Well, all of you have expanded. You do different things, and you obviously bring different characters, and you perform as yourselves as well as, you're a big part of Malt Shop, and a memory like we're doing here and talking with all the folks wouldn't be the same without you guys. So I appreciate you taking a few minutes.
Awesome. It's great to be with you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, it's great to see your faces because, one of the things that, and you heard me at the top there, we are following the Times. And now the Times, we played a little Zoom virtual marriage game. Now they reprised their marriage game roles. They did it for us last time they were on, and they're just a blast. So we just did one over Zoom, and people got to get a little peek of it. And we want to keep the laughs going a little bit. And I was thinking to myself, and I was talking to Janine Morris, one of the vice presidents and a producer and creator of Malt Shop, and we were talking. We're like, who else can we use in a comedy section? She's like, well, the tributes are always. I said, yes, George, Tim, Cara, let's get them on. And I called Georgie. And I said, George, what do you think? What should we do? And George said, let's just tell our favorite jokes. Let's just tell some of the best jokes we've heard or used, whether it's Malt Shop or just lifelong achievements or lifelong paying attention to stages across the world and folks' material. So we've built repertoires, as my friend used to call it, Rolodexes, someone then.
And Cara Lee is at the top of that list of who is the funniest person I'm going to call right now.
Cara Lee, right at the very top of the comedian list of, Cara, don't sell yourself short. We know you're funny, girl. We know you're funny. George and Tim obviously make a living being, comedic to a certain extent. And if they're not trying to be comedic, we still find them funny for the antics and whatnot. Anyone who's not seen a George and Tim pre-show is arguably, and I say this with all due respect, it's arguably better than the actual show. And I mean, no offense to your actual show, but comedy is obviously something that's a big part of these guys' world. So as I was saying, the Rolodex, you got X amount of jokes in that Rolodex, and the faster you are at pulling them from it, the better often a show or pre-show is. And Cara, where you may not be comedic by nature, you are very funny. And I know George called you and I called you and we said, hey, listen, just throw together a couple of the worst jokes you can find and you'll be just fine. Yeah. everybody can nail a bad joke, right? Bad jokes aren't that hard because even if sometimes it's the best jokes that just go flat and they turn into bad jokes. But we thought we would do something we're going to call aptly, not to step on any toes or shows that are out there. We're going to call it Jokers Wild or Jokers Are Us or whatever we'd like to call it. Jokers Anonymous. We're going to have a little fun. We're going to tell some jokes and we're going to see who's got the best Rolodex, who's got the jokes on file. And Cara, because you are the lady of the group and because you are the funniest of the group, and I want to apply as much pressure as possible to the guys, I want to start with you. You've probably learned, seen, or come across a lot of jokes in your days. What do you want to lead with? And this could be good, bad, or otherwise. We get to deem it afterwards.
Okay. How do you keep a bagel from getting away?
How do you keep a bagel from getting away?
Put locks on it.
I like that. I like that.
What did Cher say to the orphan pig she adopted?
Oh my, the orphan pig.
Babe, I got you, babe.
I knew it because I love the movie. I knew it. I was like, oh, James Cromwell. I knew it. I was like, gotta be Babe.
All right.
I like where we're going.
Want more?
I do. I'm really impressed.
Hold. Two's a great start. We're gonna hold on bagels with locks, and we're gonna hold on Babe.
Babe, I got you, babe.
Tim, can you even possibly follow Cara Lee?
Who?
You, Timmy. Can you even possibly follow that setup? Cara set the stage high, Tim.
Oh, so we trying to be funny? Right?
Well, you're gonna try to be funny. Cara is funny. You're gonna try to be funny.
So this clown drops dead. 3 days later, 2 buzzards swarm down. It's like they're chewing on him pretty good. They pull their heads out of the carcass, look at each other, go, "This tastes funny to you."
I love the dad jokes that we're breaking out. This is awesome. Bagels with locks, clown jokes. Go, Timmy. Give me another one. Give me another one.
Why do ducks have flat feet? To stamp out forest fires. Why do elephants have flat feet? To stamp out flaming ducks. Why do elephants have 4 feet? Because 8 inches just isn't enough. So Adam and Eve are strolling through the Garden of Eden, and this elephant walks upon them and looks down at Adam and says, "How do you drink through that thing?"
Oh my God.
I'll pass the baton off. You know?
Okay. Just step on flaming ducks.
Smokey the Bear is not impressed.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, what's his middle name? The. Smokey the Bear's middle name? The.
George, are you responsible for these two Yahoos?
I have nothing to do with it.
I wouldn't have anything to do with it either.
But let me tell you, I stayed at a cheap hotel the other night, and the lady next door to me was so fat. Every time she sat in her bathtub, my toilet overflowed.
You didn't even give me a moment to say how fat was she.
And she had an ugly kid too. This kid was
How
so
ugly was he?
She held him upside down and told everyone he had one eye.
You know, that reminds me of something. A guy goes home with a girl and she's like, "I have to warn you, my son's kind of, he's got this abnormality." He's like, "Oh, sweetheart, you're so pretty. It doesn't matter. What could it possibly be?" They get home and they're kind of making out. All of a sudden they hear the stairs kind of creak. Sure enough, he looks up at the stairs and here comes her son. He's a big giant ear with 2 legs. And he's like, "Well, aren't you just the most special little kind of guy?" And the woman says, "You're going to have to speak up. He's hard of hearing."
Oh gosh. Why do I feel like this is a bad idea all of a sudden?
This is a great idea.
Mine were the groaners.
I told you, Cara. I told you.
So 2 termites walk into a bar and they lay the money down on the bar and they go, "Excuse me, now remember, it's 2 termites. They go, "Is the bartender here?" "I'll be here all week. Try the veal."
Every joke is better when you have to preface it with now remember, there's two termites.
That's right. Hell yeah. You got to lay it out there. Guy walks into an eye doctor and says, "Doc, I'm having a hard time seeing far away places." Doctor wanders him over to the window and opens it up and says, "What do you see up here?" And he goes, "The moon." He goes, "God, how far do you want to see?"
Guy walks into his doctor and he says, "Doctor, I'm addicted to Twitter." His doctor says, "I'm sorry, I don't follow you."
Oh, golly, good one.
Nothing
George,
like a
George,
little digital
George,
age humor.
George, you've got it there. Take that because it'll remind you of yours.
Father's walking his 6-year-old boy through the park and they come across 2 dogs that are mating. And the little boy says, "Daddy, what are those dogs doing?" And he says, "Well, son, they're making a little baby puppy." And the kid thinks about it and they go home. Later that night, the father's making love to the mother and the little boy walks in. He says, "Daddy, what are you doing to mama?" And he says, "Well, we're trying to make you a little baby brother or a sister." And the kid thinks about it and says, "Turn her over, Pop. I'd rather have a puppy."
Yeah, Cara, you reminded me. The invisible man goes to the doctor, steps up to it, and the doctor says, "Tell him I can't see him today."
So for the moderator with the red button, just go ahead and start marking these under can't use. Just find, just start marking these under.
What's the difference between? Here's one. What's the difference between a politician and a flying pig? The letter F.
People right now are writing it out.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Did you
What
hear
goes
about
99? What goes 99 thump? 99 thump? 99 thump? Centipede with a broken leg. Come on, guys. Pick it up. Pick it up. Pick it up.
Centipede with the wooden leg. Cara.
Did you
Cara,
hear
you had
about the
one.
new restaurant called Karma? There's
No.
no menu because you get what you deserve.
I like it. I like that. Hey, what did the pirate say when he turned 80? "Aye, matey."
Tim is the champion of dad jokes. Tim is the
Oh my
champion
God.
of dad jokes.
All right. I'm on it like a bum on a cheese sandwich. Hey, so this a hair lip joke and a humpback guy, you good with that?
Well, we're
Okay, here we go.
on, so I mean, it's a little late to be asking that.
All
Timmy.
right.
Would you sell it?
Some people might
Sell it
I
on
don't want to
stage?
take, don't want to take yeah, I absolutely would. Hair lip guy goes into this bar and goes, "Excuse me, sir, how much for your Jack Daniels?" And the bartender says, "Well, sir, that'd be $5 a shot." And then the hair lip guy knows he's humpback. He's like, "Oh, how much for your Johnny Walker?" And he goes, that's $5.50. Oh, that man. Whoa. How much for your Crown Royal?" He says, "That's $6. That's a call shot. That's pretty high." And he goes, "God mighty." He said, I can't afford these prices, but I certainly appreciate you not making fun of me being a hair lip." And the bartender says, I appreciate you not making fun of me being a humpback." He goes, "Humpback? Humpback? Is that a hump on your back? I thought that was your ass. Everything else in here's the damn high."
Timmy, God bless you. God bless you.
Night, everybody.
Yeah. On that note, you've driven George to coughing to death now. George,
Oh
you
my
better
God.
do it.
save Timmy, George. Go.
With COVID-19,
Oh.
you just got to have all kinds of protection and wear a big old mask. It's keep your social distance 6 feet away. Everybody's locked down every night and day. You know, they're locked down in Boston, Pittsburgh, PA, deep in the heart of Texas, and down the Frisco Bay, all over St. Louis, and down in New Orleans. All the kids gone locked down with COVID-19. You can't
Good one,
eat in a
Joel.
restaurant
There's
or
more.
see a movie too. You got politicians, they tell you what to do. They're all getting their paychecks and giving trillions away. Our economy's tanking. It gets worse every day. You see the lockdown in Boston, Pittsburgh, PA. All right, you get the gist of that.
I think we got it in the first verse, but I appreciate it.
There you go. That's all right.
Yeah.
That's all right. Just trying to do my part.
You are. I appreciate the fact that creativity knows no bounds when we're all locked down. Why not write a COVID song? I mean,
Right. Oh, wow. Hey,
I
boy,
think
how do you make a bass player's car more aerodynamic? You remove the Domino's delivery sign off the top of it.
I like that you changed the
That's for Bill
musician joke.
Sinkay. That's for Bill Sinkay. He'll be all over.
Oh
me
yeah,
on that.
Bill Sinkay loves that joke.
I love that you took a musician joke and made it just about the bass player. That's great.
Oh, oh, you know how to make a guitar? You know how to make the guitar player turn his music down?
How?
Put sheet music in front of him.
Hey, what do you call a bass player without a girlfriend? Homeless. That's right.
Yeah.
What's the difference between an alto and a B-flat soprano saxophone? You can hit a baseball a hell of a lot further with a B-flat soprano saxophone.
Somebody's dad is proud somewhere.
Hey, boy, remember the bar that had the brass urinals? Tell that one. I love that joke. That's wonderful.
My God.
I love it. It's perfect. Listen to this. I'm not lying. I really like it.
Fella comes home one night. He's drunk. He comes home and his wife says, "Where's your hat?" He says, "I don't know. I left it at the bar." She says, "What bar?" He says, "I don't know. I don't know the name of it, but they had brass urinals." So she gets out the phone book. She starts calling up these bars and she says, "Hey," she calls them about 20 of them. And she finally calls one and she says, "I know this is going to be a silly question, but do you have brass urinals?" And the bartender puts his hand over the phone and he says, "Hey, Harry, I think we got a line on the guy who pissed in the tuba."
I love it, Mule.
Jesus. Oh, Lord.
Jesus has nothing to do with any of this.
Oh,
Cara.
no, don't get religious.
All right.
The accordion player goes to the bar out kind of the middle of nowhere suburb, like the Midwest. And he goes up and asks the bartender there and the manager, he's like, "Man, I'm an accordion player. I was wondering if you guys are hiring." And the owner goes, you didn't leave it in your car, did you?" And he goes, "Well, yeah, why?" He goes, "It's a pretty sketchy neighborhood." "Really?" They run outside real quick, and sure enough, the back window was bashed in, and there were 3 more accordions in the back seat. The accordion player goes to another bar and says, "Hey, man, you got music, you get a band hired for New Year's Eve?" The guy goes, "Well, matter of fact, we don't. Why don't you audition real quick?" He loves him, and he plays, and he hammers. I mean, the bar, everybody's like, "That's the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life. That guy's incredible." And the guy said, the owner after the gig pays him well and says, "Hey, can you come back? Can you play next New Year's Eve?" Accordion player says, "Sure. Can I leave my equipment?"
Musicians will appreciate that more than the average human will.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. They'll understand the
Especially
reference.
this year, that accordion can stay for 2 years.
Ain't it the truth?
Oh my God. What do you get when you mix a snowman and a vampire?
Oh.
Frostbite.
Oh, I should have picked up on that initial. I was like, wait a minute.
What kind of monster is the best dancer?
What now? Wait a minute. What was it?
What kind of monster is the best dancer?
The boogeyman.
I love it when George has he's got that little kid laugh and he goes, he's got a whole body weight. It's like,
Okay, knock, knock.
oh, who's there?
All right, I'm listening.
Share.
Hair
Excuse me?
who?
Share your candy with me. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Who's there?
Share.
Share who?
Sherlock Holmes. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Share.
Share who?
Share would be nice if you opened the door.
I like this. Boy, do I like
That's it.
this. That's it. Oh,
That's it.
boy, you and I are going to remember that on our road trips. Like, thank you, Sherlock Holmes. I can hear it right now.
It only works if you do it in the Cher voice, though. If you do it in your own voice, forget it.
Yeah. Oh, Murray Langston is with us.
Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Hey, it's been rough during COVID. I'll tell you, I've gained a little weight. Hey, what do you? Oh, hey, all right. Okay, all right. Hey. Hey, what do you get when you cross a penis with a potato? A dictator. All right, okay.
Good one, Mule. Oh, good one. Good one. Boy, you're all over that like a duck on a June bug, boy. Very nice. Holy
George,
crap.
did George tell you about his Halloween costume? He's actually going out naked on roller skates with this string tied around his wiener. You know what he's going as? Pull toy.
All right, Tim.
All right,
Timmy?
go
is
ahead,
It time,
go ahead.
Is it time for dueling Rodneys?
Oh, well, Giraffe walks into a bar and says, "Hey, eyeballs are on me." Boy, monkey's sitting in a tree and he's smoking the devil's lettuce, and he's buzzing pretty good. And this little lizard walks up and says, "Hey, monkey, what are you doing?" He goes, "Man, I'm up here partying. What do you think I'm doing? Mind if I join you?" "I don't mind at all. Come on up." He sits down. They're sharing it. They're both really stoned now. But the lizard's like, "Man, I'm so thirsty." He says, "Well, there's a river on the other side of them trees." Monkey says, "There's a river on the other side of the trees." Lizard says, "I'm going to go get a drink. I'll be right back." And he goes over to the river. The lizard starts to drink, but falls in the river. And he's like, "Oh my God, oh my God." This great, big, huge crocodile sees this lizard and says, "Man, what is going on here?" Swims over and says, "Get on, dummy." The lizard gets on this big crocodile's back and he swims him to shore and says, "Man, what is wrong with you? You're not a swimmer." He goes, "I was smoking this really nasty stuff with this monkey back up in this tree over here." He goes, "And it just messed me up." And he goes, "Well, where is this monkey?" He says, "Just through them trees there, and then up in that great big huge one." He says, "You going back over there?" And the little lizard says, "No, I've had enough." That great big alligator comes slithering through those bushes and says, "Hey, monkey." That monkey looks down at that alligator and says, "Damn, lizard, how much water did you drink?" But it don't. Bring it, boy. Bring me Rodney. What do you got?
Yeah, I'll tell you, I don't get any respect, you know? Why, I asked my old man when I was a kid if I could go ice skating on the lake. He said, "Wait till it gets warmer." I'll tell you.
Hey, I'll tell you what. I'm not saying my wife's a bad cook or anything, but I got the only dog in the neighborhood who begs for Alka-Seltzer.
No. I'll tell you, my wife and I, we don't think alike. She gives money to the homeless. I give money to the topless. Oh, I'll tell you.
I'm not saying she's a bad cook or anything, but we have to hide the dental floss in the house to keep the roaches from hanging themselves.
Well, I'll tell you, my parents, they really hated me. My parents hated me. My bath toys were a toaster and a radio.
I asked my wife, I said, "What are the mirrors doing above the bed?" She said, "I like to laugh while I'm having sex."
Oh, I'll tell you, no respect.
Myself laugh, yeah.
You know, marriage is tough. My wife kisses the dog on the lips and she won't drink out of my glass.
Hey, my daughter's she's no catch either. She can't even pass her driver's ed test. They can't get her out of the back seat.
Yeah, I told my doctor, every morning when I get up, I look in the mirror and I feel like throwing up. He says, "Well, your eyesight's perfect."
I got my kid a bow and arrow for Christmas. He got me a t-shirt with a bullseye on the back. Hey.
Hey, no respect.
Hey, some dog I've got too. You're kidding, my dog, we call him Egypt because he leaves a pyramid in each room.
Same dog. He's the only dog I know of. He licks his butthole to get the taste of my wife's cooking out of his mouth.
Oh, I'll tell you, my dog, his favorite bone is in my arm.
Oh, you got me. You stumped me. I have run out on it, boy. I have absolutely
my wife, she cut me down to sex just once a month. Hell, that ain't so bad. I know 2 guys she cut out altogether.
Wait, she said she liked to, she liked to talk to me while she's having sex. She just called me from the hotel just the other night. Hey.
My wife met me at the door wearing a sexy negligee. She was coming home.
Hey, I'm not saying my wife's a bad cook, but all the flies in the neighborhood pitched in to have the screen doors fixed. Hey.
Hey, you know, I've been depressed. It's rough. I've been a little depressed. I called my doctor. I said, I just swallowed a bottle of sleeping pills. What should I do? He said, have a few drinks and get some rest.
I knew that's what it was. Brilliant, boy. Brilliant.
Hey, I'll tell you, my love life, it's rough. I was making love to this girl and she started crying. I said, are you gonna hate yourself in the morning? She says, no, I hate myself now.
Oh my God, you guys.
I'm not saying I'm that good looking, but I was with a girl the other night. She put a brown paper bag over my head and hers. I said, why you put one over your head? She goes, in case yours breaks.
Yeah, my wife, she's not too bright either. Why, it takes her an hour and a half to watch 60 Minutes. These are the jokes that have kept us out of the big time all these years. Isn't that right, Tim?
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm fat, but, you know, having sex with me is considered a threesome. Hey,
Hey, I knew a girl so fat, 2 guys could make love to her and never meet each other.
I knew her. She was so fat, I rolled over 3 times. I was still on top. See, it's fat. I'm telling you, fat.
Hey, hey, are you kidding? I come from a tough neighborhood. The local restaurant serves broken leg of lamb. Well, I bought a waterbed and I found a guy at the bottom of it. That's how it's tough in my neighborhood. It's tough. I asked a policeman how to get to the subway. He says, I don't know. No one's ever made it before.
Yeah. I remember those.
So do I.
Brilliant, boy. Brilliant.
Hey, Cara. Hey, Cara, how we doing?
Yeah. The rails, we went off the rails about 60 minutes ago. So I've got interesting though, actually, and that brought me to kind of a serious, not a serious question, but coming up, I mean, obviously you guys just rattled off a whole bunch of Dangerfield. When you're thinking about the old school comics, who are the most impressive to you? Who are your favorites? Who did you really look up to?
Go ahead, Tim.
You know, when I was young, I mean, we're going way back. This is a Malt Shop, since we're on it, they'll all know it. Flip Wilson. They used to laugh. God, I would scream at Flip Wilson. And early Bill Cosby. And because, you know, other than like Henny Youngman and stuff, but Rodney, early on, I used to scream laughing at him. But the guys, as I've gotten older, the guys that make you think. You know, as I've gotten older. But Murray, when he was on the boat, he made me laugh so hard I lost my voice for 2 days. So he had a machine gun mentality of jokes like I never saw. I said, you were second. I never saw it. I never witnessed it before from anyone. That Rolodex,
that joke Rolodex.
Sam Kinison, I really liked a lot of his spiel. Dennis Miller, Eddie Murphy. Man, some of those guys.
Eddie Murphy in that leather suit. I just remember watching.
The Delirious. Yeah, the Delirious
and then Raw. Yeah.
Oh,
for me, I agree with Timmy. We talk a lot about comedy, and when we're on the road, we very seldom play the radio. We just talk and we bounce bits off of each other. The bits that we do about the commercial jingles is one that we came up on a cross country drive. But I would have to say, and this is my hand to God, Don Rickles. I went to a Don Rickles show in Atlantic City years ago, and a friend of mine was his bodyguard, and I got to meet him backstage. And after the show, my sides were aching because I had been laughing for about an hour and a half. And I got to meet him, and I went backstage. He was very, very nice. My friend said, all the casino executives, they're going to get their picture and they're going to leave. He said, just make sure you're the last one. And I was the last one. He invited me in. We had a drink. And I said, Mr. Rickles, he said, call me Don. I said, I need to tell you, Don, when I was a kid and I would see in the TV guide that you were going to host the Tonight Show or you were going to be on the Dean Martin Celebrity Roast, I begged my parents. My bedtime was 9 o'clock during a school night. And I would beg my parents, please, please let me stay up and watch Don Rickles. And my dad would be what? My dad was an appliance repairman and merchant seaman and all this. And he's in his work clothes, and he's washing his hands at the sink. And he would look at me. I'd be about 14 years old. And he'd say, what is so damn important about staying up to see Don Rickles? And I said, Dad, you don't understand. This is going to be my career. And Rickles had a scotch, and he said, held it up. He said, here's a toast to your father. And we clinked glasses. And it was great. Just the best. That's the best. Boy, I'm getting goosebumps telling that story. Cool. It was just the best.
When you think of the great comics, you know, there's so many different styles. Obviously, there's the, you know, you guys just rattled off a bunch of Rodney. Rodney had a very distinct style. Kinnison had an extremely distinct style. You start going into Belushi and Murphy, and you start getting into that kind of, I'm going to call them the Saturday Night Live crew. It's not fair to call them that because they were so much bigger than that. But, you know, you go into those guys, and everyone, you know, you look at Pryor, and, you know, you look at these just epic comedians, and there was a lot of different tactics. There's a lot of different approaches. Jokes aren't just, they don't have to be mean. They don't have to not be mean. They can be aggressive. They can be non-aggressive. They can do observational. A lot of times, obviously, too, comedians, you know, there's a big difference between what is a joke and what is a story. You know, it's, I was never good at jokes. I would tell stories that had funny things when I was doing my stage bits. I never told, hey, I heard a joke, because there's pressure with that. What is it like? And Cara, I apologize, I'm going to come back to you for something specific in a second, but for Tim and George, people expect you to be funny to a certain extent. And that's where I'm going with this is when you tell a joke, people are looking to laugh. When you tell a story, the laughter often hits by surprise. The punchline or the joke is hidden within it and you don't know it's coming, or what is the pressure like to go on stage and feel funny? And was there a time when it was a lot for you? I mean, now you guys are obviously old pros and you're comfortable at it, but what's that pressure like for people that maybe have never been on a stage?
You know, I'm going to, that's a story of exactly, it's a very short story. And it comes down to, it was almost a poll, a questionnaire was taken or given. And people, what do you fear more? Jumping out of an airplane or being on stage? And almost 90% said jumping or being on stage, being on a live stage. So initially, back early on, I'd come out, I did have the jitters, not anymore. And, you know, a nervous person won't not necessarily deliver a story the way somebody really, if you're comfortable, man, you just sell it.
You can see it, yeah.
You're comfortable, man.
I think for me, a lot of it came from being shy as a kid. And then when I was 18 years old, I got a job as a Jungle Cruise skipper. And you were basically a stand-up comedian for an 8-minute trip. And I worked at Disneyland during the Steve Martin years, where everybody wanted to be a wild and crazy guy. And
another comedian, George, that was another one.
Yeah, Steve Martin, absolutely. But everything that I do, a lot of what I do on stage today, I learned making $3 an hour, working 8 hours a day on the Jungle Cruise, doing 25 trips a day. How to instill the biggest thing I believe is, you know, you've seen us do our act, the Blues Brothers and the Bopper and Buddy Holly and all the characters that we do, how to make something you've done literally hundreds or thousands of times fresh for a new audience. Every audience, that's the biggest lesson in comedy for me. Every audience is different. Not everyone has heard your jokes. And if you do it with the same commitment and you keep that in mind, but I'm constantly drawing from my experience from
George,
working that job.
If I can elaborate on that a little bit, I've always said you treat every audience as if it's a one-nighter. Every one.
Mhm.
Even if you did a 2 o'clock matinee and an 8 o'clock evening show, you treat them all like it is a one-nighter. Because there are people, there are always people there that have never seen you before, and that's how you deliver it.
And
I
Cara,
can actually speak to this a little bit. I think like when I'm performing as myself,
this is exactly what I was just going to ask you.
I'm a songstress, but when I'm in the Cher costume, I'm funny, but it's because I'm in a costume, and I also know that as the Cher character, Cher would say whatever she wants. There's no real barriers with her. She'll say stuff and it can be really sarcastic and cutting, and I can get away with it when I'm dressed as Cher. And over the years, I've had bits that I do. And then over the years, things have happened on stage where when I'm actually in her character, I'll say something. Something happens, like a guy's grabbing my wig or something, and I'll be like, you know, watch my hair, honey, you'll pull it right off. And I say it that night as a joke. And then I'm like, oh, that was good. That's in the show now. And so I've gotten material from saying something off the cuff that is now written into my show. And I would say, like with Cher, I kind of have obviously studied her a lot. So I write monologues as her, but I am able to find the funny thing in the story. And then with me, people don't really expect me to be funny. And it is funny already just because I'm in the costume and I'm doing the voice. It already lends itself to being funny. But I have been able to, I would say it's more of a story or a little one-liner bit. And then I was also going to say, when I was working on, I started working on these cruise ships that just went back and forth from Florida to Bahamas. And there was always 3 comedians on board or a comic juggler. And that was the first time. I've always been in bands touring the rock clubs. And that was kind of the first time I worked with comedians and cruise directors. And I would watch them every night. And I learned so much from watching them, watching the cruise director and how he handled the crowd and how he was just kind of himself. And I would watch the comedians. And then I actually became really good friends with everybody. So I would sit down with the comedians and we would write jokes. They were like, Cara, you're going to host the late night comedy show as Cher. And I'm like, what? I'm the host? Like, and then they would write me jokes and we would practice them. And then I would watch, you know, one day I watched a comedian write a joke and we wrote it that afternoon. And then he went on stage that night and he told the joke and it bombed. And he was like, well, I guess I'll never tell that one again. And he just went on. And I was
gets
like,
a laugh.
right. And I was like, oh, wow. Okay. Like that was like a huge lesson for me because it was like, it doesn't matter. Like he just told it, it didn't work. He went on with it.
Well,
I was like, it was kind of a no fear thing, you know?
Absolutely. You know,
and I learned like, oh, you don't have to be afraid. If it doesn't work, you just kind of point out that it doesn't work and keep it moving.
You know, Seinfeld did a fantastic. Jerry Seinfeld did a great. It's a movie, but it's kind of a documentary. I think it's called Comedian, actually, off the top of my head. And it was at the height of Seinfeld when he's making $50 million a season, and he's selling out an arena. I mean, he's one of the biggest stars on the planet. And he decided to scrap his entire routine. And what people don't often understand, to your point, Cara, is a routine is something that's built over years and years and years of failure and success. You might go out and do 60 minutes, but you might only take 20 of that's really your cement material. And you might only keep 20 plus 2 new minutes, and you might scrap the other 38 minutes. I mean, people, you slowly create this, it compacts down on itself until you finally have your first hour as a comic. When you have your first hour, that is hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of material that's created an hour. So when someone scraps an entire tried, true, tested, Jerry Seinfeld scrapped his 90-minute home run set and started from zero because he wanted to go back to the feeling of starting again. And it's a documentary and it's a movie, and it's him at his prime going out and doing 2 minutes, just walking into nightclubs and saying, hey, can I do open mic for 2 minutes? Seinfeld, yeah, go ahead. He'd go up and bomb. He'd tell a joke that doesn't work from a notepad and go, all right, good to know. And then he'd leave. Like, but it's to your point. This is Seinfeld at the height of his career. And he's going out there and he's doing this. And you watch someone build and build and build. And, you know, especially if you watch, to your point, you're watching comedians and you're watching cruise directors and, you know, you're around George and Tim so much, right? People that we often think are thinking really fast on their feet. Yes, they are fast on their feet, but often what they're fastest at is recall, because they used that line somewhere. It got a laugh. To your point, Cara, it got a laugh and they went, oh, that works.
Right.
You're going to encounter that moment again. Someone's going to grab Cher's hair again. You now have a locked and loaded line, but you just have to wait for someone to reach out and grab your hair again, or whatever that is, you know. And so it's that, and they will, and that recall. If your recall's fast enough, and that's what I refer to as the comedian Rolodex, you get a reputation as being, oh, they're so quick-witted, and they are, but they're also really good at recall. They're pulling back a joke they've used hundreds of times and making it look fresh in that moment, as if, hey, just pulled this out of the hat for the 180th time. You know, comedy's it's a tough road to hoe, so to speak. You know, and I've got to say, it's so much fun working with all you guys, and I also got to say how much fun it is to have you guys on to do something like this. Obviously, we can't be on the Malt Shop Cruise right now, so you know, we're all looking for something to keep us laughing a little bit. And most importantly, we're looking for something to entertain our Malt Shop guests. So before we get out of here, Timmy, I'll start with you. Any message, anything to say to the Malt Shop guests out there?
The Malt Shop guests. Sorry we couldn't be together this year, first and foremost. Secondly, in the name Malt Shop Memories, and this is just me talking, memories is what comes to mind more than Malt Shop. And every time we get together, we make new ones. And we're going to do it again. I can't wait to make new memories with the Malt Shop crew. And
great
memories is
great
what
message.
it's all about. Memories is all I have. I can't remember the future, but I can certainly remember all my experiences that I've had with all the Malt Shop people. I love you all. And I wish you the happiest of holidays and a great 2021.
Amen. We're all ready for 2021, Timmy.
Oh,
Cara,
God.
what do you got, Cara?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry we can't be together. I do think when we are together, I mean, it's going to be amazing, because we're just going to be so super grateful and appreciative to be together and to see each other. And I think, you know, not that we ever took it for granted, because it does only happen once a year, but we're certainly even going to be just so much happier to see each other. We're going to be so happy to perform for you guys. We love you guys. I mean, I'm going to be so sad in November when we're supposed to be on the cruise, but I know we're going to be back, and I know we're going to have a blast. We're just going to have a blast and go off the rails as much as we can.
Georgie, take us home, buddy.
You know, everything that Tim and Cara expressed is in my heart as well. And I just would like to say, as we are all going through this very weird, strange time, that even in the worst of times, there are things we can be grateful for. And I will always be grateful for the time that I got to spend with my parents and my family. And even though tempers get short or the stress levels are high, I think the lesson, and this is sincere, we've done a lot of kidding around, but it truly is from my heart. It has taught me that the old, hey, let's do lunch. Hell, hey, we ought to get together sometime. Every single person that I've talked to who's meant something to me, all of you included, I can't wait till we're together again. And Cara's absolutely right. We will all be grateful once this is passed, and it will pass. It doesn't seem, sometimes it seems hopeless. There's still hope. There's still positivity, and we're all going to keep moving toward the light, and we're all going to keep doing the best that we can. But when we are together, all of our friends on the Malt Shop Cruise, from King Don to Charlie and Bonnie and all of the great people who dance and laugh and bring those costumes and keep this music alive, singing every word to every song at every show.
Packing our shows and just being there.
We will be together again. There will be hugs all around. There will be smiles and laughs. And till we meet again, and I know we will, just keep a song in your heart and just keep thinking positively. And we'll get through this, all of us. God bless everybody.
Oh, those are great messages. And I know, I hope you guys understand, and I know we've talked a lot, but I know you three understand how much you mean to the Malt Shop crowd and the Star Vista crowd as well. You know, these cruises you're a big part of it. And there's a reason none of you are on just one. You know, you're a part of that family, and Star Vista views all three of you in that way. So from Star Vista to you, I know I can say comfortably for them that we wish you nothing but the best here. And I know from all of us to all the Malt Shop Memories cruisers out there, thanks for tuning in. Have a little bit of fun, a little bit of laughter with us. Anything Tim said that you didn't find appropriate, that's Tim and Tim alone. That does not coincide with the beliefs, thoughts, or ideas of Star Vista Live. Those are Tim's thoughts alone. He arbors all of those. And George.
If you have a complaint, file it under jasonsvenner.com.
Yes. George takes full responsibility for anything out of Tim's mouth as well. All right. With that aside, we love you. Be smart, be safe, be healthy. Treat each other with kindness and compassion. Can't wait to see you again. Be well, my friends. Now let's take a little walk down memory lane.